everybody? This is David. Welcome back to the channel. As always, remember to like, share, subscribe, hit that notification bell. I really appreciate it. Helps the channel grow. And it's been a while. It's been a while since about a week or so since we done a live. So, you know, guys know the routine. Yep. Interesting times in the stock market. Interesting times in the stock market today. And we're going to jump right in. We need to wait. If some people come in, they'll drop in. Throw this over here. We're going to get right to it. This is episode 15, Surviving the Stock Market. Because as you know, every day is something new. So, this stock market is crazy lately, and you just never know what you're going to get each day. So, let's jump right into a recap here. We'll start with the Dow. The Dow had a good day today, up 1,000 points, up 2.66% today, sitting at 39,186.98. Over the last week, however, the Dow is still down 3.66%. So let's not get too carried away by what we saw today. And over the last month, the Dow is still down 8% or 7.98%, 3,300 points. And year to date, the Dow is down 7.89%, 3,300 points. So let's not get too excited, get too crazy about what we saw today, because just last week, we had a big week like that, and basically we just averaging out, still well down, way down on the year. You see the S&P today up 2.51%, 129 points up, sitting at 5287.76. Over the last week, the S&P is down 2.68%. down 145 points, and over the last month, the S&P is down 8.32%, down 479 points over the last month. And year to date, the S&P is still down 10% year to date, even with these big days. It's still not adding up, right? Because we've had so many down days that it's just been ridiculous. So, people get excited when we have a big day, including myself. But I know overall, man, we still well down. As you see here, at one point we was at 6,100, 6,144 on the S&P, and we're sitting at 5287.76. So, like I said, down, 10% year to date. And the S&P is down 10% year to date. I can only imagine what the NASDAQ is down. But today, the NASDAQ back over 16,000, up 2.71%, up 429 points on the day. For the week, the NASDAQ is down 3.70%, down 600 points. Over the last month, the NASDAQ is down 10%, 10.38%. down 1,800 points in the last month. So, man, the NASDAQ has just been getting thrashed. It's been getting thrashed all year. So over the last month, down 10%. Year to date, the NASDAQ is down 15%, 15.59%, down over 3,000 points. So, these couple of green days, man, it's just you're just making up little pieces of what we've lost this year. So the S&P is still down 10%. The NASDAQ is still down 15% year to date. So that Dow is down 8% year to date. So we have a long way to go to get back to where we need to be. But it's always good to have some of these green days mixed in. So I'll take it. Unfortunately, in these times, I'll take it whenever I can get it, because you just don't want the bottom to fall out. Even though we've taken some hits, It's it could be worse. It could be worse. So, but as you see here, the Nasdaq down 15%. So I ain't gonna touch on that too much because the numbers speak for itself. No way around it. So uh, got a few topics here tonight. I want to jump into the next topic. Yeah, we are now in the earnings season, first quarter. As you know, it's over March 31st. So what you have now is these companies coming out reporting their earnings, how well they did first quarter, and this could very well dictate how the share price is going to move, and especially in the short term. So today was a big day. Um, One of the big boys had their earnings today, and that's Tesla. Elon Musk, Tesla, a lot of controversy surrounding Elon Musk and Tesla over the last few months, especially, since he's taken this role in the administration. So interesting earnings today. I just want to go over to Yahoo Finance and just kind of dabble into what some of their results are. And we'll read through it here so you can see for yourself. Any Tesla owners out there, car owners or share owners, I am a Tesla stockholder. I do own a couple of shares of Tesla, not that much, but I do own some Tesla shares. So let's jump right into Yahoo Finance and let's get a recap of some of what's going on with Tesla. And as you see here, Tesla misses on Q1 results, but the stock jumps after Musk says time at Doge will drop significantly. So even though their numbers didn't hit, stock prices usually, is based on future earnings or what's going on in the future, right? And like I said, Elon Musk has been pretty controversial about his role in that administration, and Tesla sales have taken a hit because of it. So he's now saying he's going to kind of backtrack away from some of that, the stuff in the White House and focus on his company. So let's just see here. Tesla reported first quarter earnings Tuesday after the bell. They had widely missed the mark, but the company said it still expects new vehicles to launch in the first half of 2025. During the post-earnings conference call, CEO Elon Musk said he's going to spend less time in Washington and more time in Tesla. So more time at Tesla. So I know the stock jumped on those on that news there. So starting early next month in May, my time allocation to Doge, which Department of Government Efficiency, will drop significantly. Musk said he'd continue to spend a day or two per week at Doge, but said he will be allocating far more of my time to Tesla. And you see Tesla stock jump 5% in the after hours after he made this announcement. So Tesla was up on the day 10 points, and then you see how it jumped after hours as well when that news came out. So that's kind of what what people wanted to hear. So let's see. Where do you stand on Tesla, David? Thinking Musk is done after Trump is out of the office? I'm gonna be honest with you. I think you're gonna see far less of Elon Musk in the near future. I think that the reaction to his time in the White House was not as expected. I think his company took a hit. I think his brand took a hit. I think the Elon Musk aura took a hit based on what he's done in the administration. So I don't expect to see a lot of Elon Musk around the White House in the near future in a significant role. Just my opinion, because I think, with these big boys, money talks, right? So Elon Musk spent a lot of money on the administration, but he's still running his, he still had business to run. And I think those businesses took a major hit. And I don't think a lot of people was happy with his role and what he's done so far in this new administration. So I think his brand is taking a nosedive, in my opinion. But hey, he's a billionaire, so but in my opinion, I just think you're not going to see as much from him in the near future. But like I said, I still own a few shares of Tesla, and I'm gonna still keep building my shares up when I get a chance. So let's gonna keep reading on here. Tesla reported Q1 revenue of 19.34 billion versus 21.43 billion estimate, well below the 21.3 billion reported a year ago. Tesla posted adjusted earnings per share of 27 cents versus 44-cent estimated. Not good news. Tesla said plans for new affordable vehicles are on track for start of production in the first half of 2025, and that it still expects robotaxi volume production starting in 2026, along with robotaxi testing. These are two big investor concerns headed into earnings. It seems like we've been listening, hearing about these robotaxis for a long time. So, nice to hear about, affordable vehicles on track for start of production in the first half of 2025. So we'll see what he says about that at the next Tesla earnings for the second quarter. But it seems like we've been hearing about robo taxis for quite some time. So only can fool the investors for so long. But we'll see how Tesla does. See if sales pick back up, since he's going to be focusing more of his time back on Tesla and away from the White House. We'll see how that affects the company. So let's see. The company blamed trade uncertainty as a reason behind slumping sales. Uncertainty in the automotive and energy markets continues to increase as rapidly evolving trade policy adversely impacts the global supply chain and cost structure of Tesla and our peers, the company said in a statement. This dynamic, along with changing political sentiment, could have a meaningful impact on demand for our products in the near term. Musk said on the call that he told Trump that lower tariffs were better for the country, but ultimately the decision on tariffs is up to the president. Because of this uncertainty, Tesla said it will revisit its 2025 guidance in the second quarter, in its second quarter financial update, and remove its long-term growth forecast. So, as you see here, numbers not shaping out how they thought it was going to be. So they're going to do some readjusting on these forecasts, on these numbers, on these projections. And, they're hoping for a little bit more positive return, for the second quarter. But we'll see. We'll see when when it's time for the next earnings call. So, but yeah, man, that's kind of crazy, how the CEO's actions can affect the company's earnings. So let's take a look and see. We got some other earnings coming up real soon on some major players here. Google is reporting tomorrow, the 24th, Thursday. Google's reporting on Thursday, the 24th. Let's go to Amazon. Amazon is reporting May 1st. And then I just want to look at Apple, because these are some of the major players coming up. And I'm anxious to see how those earnings are going to look for the first quarter. Apple is May 1st. So Apple, Amazon, May 1st. Google is Thursday the 24th. So big time earnings is coming up. We're going to see what impact that the tariffs and all that has on these companies' earnings. So interesting to see. But I'll be glued in. But you see Tesla shooting up a little bit after hours based on what Elon Musk said, basically taking a step back from the White House, focusing more on his company. So I think that's a good sign. So with that being said, we've taken a look at the markets. We've seen how the Dow is down 8%, how the S&P is down 10%, how the NASDAQ is down 15% year to date. Obviously, this is affecting our long-term portfolios. So my question today is, how are you surviving the stock market? So Are you on the sidelines right now? Are you trading? Are you receiving dividend income? Are you buying just pullbacks? Did you sell everything? Are you dollar cost averaging? What is your strategy to get through these hard times in the stock market? So for me, I'm still collecting dividend income. I've taken a major hit on my long-term portfolio. I'm not gonna lie. And I'm talking about down tens of thousands of dollars based on the performance in the market. I didn't sell out of any positions, because trying to time the market and figuring out when to get back in. It's just crazy right now. I've seen Amazon go from well over 200 to the 160s over the last couple of weeks. And people are cheering, hey, this is a great time to buy, great time to buy. Well, maybe so. And my cost-based average on Amazon is way lower. And I know it's not going to ever go back down to that price. But, and I'm picking up shares when I can, but I don't think I'm not a fan of stocks going down. I'm sorry. Like, even when we're in a bull market, we have slight pullbacks, where you can get in on some better prices. But overall, the market is going up. Your portfolios are going up and you're getting stronger. That's why we're in the stock market. That's why we're in the market. I know people get in at certain times, at different times. So they may like the pullback. Somebody may have just got in and they appreciate the pullbacks. But some of these long-term investors that have been in the game for years, they don't like to see huge chunks taken out of their portfolio just so you can grab a couple of shares at a lower price, and that's how I am. I'm just not a big fan of that. And it's been times where it's just hard to just open up the portfolio. So it's just, I'm just trying to navigate my way through this thing, trying to survive these tough times, and hopefully, it'll turn around soon. So, and Neil said, right before I go to sleep, I lay down for about 15 minutes and cry. I'm gonna be honest with you, man. I just sometimes during the day, I say, okay, I gotta open it up. I gotta see what's going on, and then as soon as I open it up, it's just like it's a gut punch. You know what I mean? And that's probably happened 5 or 6 times this year. You know what I mean? And just to see, you see the progress that you was making, over these last couple of years, and just kind of see it go down the drain, to me for nothing, right? For no real reason. It's disheartening. It's disheartening. And but when I started, my account was much lower than what it is now. So that's the positive I look at. I look at, and I'm thinking that this time will pass. Hopefully, this time will pass without like a major drop in the market. We don't want to see nothing like 2018 or anything like that. But it's been tough, man. It's been tough. So what I've been trying to do, of course, I've been collecting covered call income. But the thing about that, even though I'm excited about it, that's only in one portfolio. And the portfolio that I'm receiving covered call income in is like a retirement portfolio. So I use that to, stack some cash, buy some shares when I can, but it's not like I'm just pulling that money out to use day to day. So I'm excited about it. This has been my highest month ever with covered call income, and I'll show you in a minute. But at the same time, it's like I'd rather see my portfolios go back up to where they was. I like being at all-time highs. Some people get nervous when you're at all-time highs. I like being at all-time highs. I like pushing through. I like seeing the stock market push through those previous highs and create new all-time highs and create new higher lows and higher highs. You know what I mean? Because you still have pullbacks during those times, and that's when I like to, let me add a few dollars here, dollar cost average. I have the $5 or $10, $15 a week going in, and that seemed to work for me. The market just, it's been going up, especially the last couple of years. And so I'm not a big fan of the major pullback. That's just not me. So for me, I try to buy on some pullbacks, cover call income. I'm not really sitting on the sideline, but I am. I'm not investing as much as I was, but I'm still actively investing into some of my accounts. Just not as much as I was. So yeah. So yeah, man, just let me know in the chat, man, or if you're watching this later on in the comments section, let me know how you guys survive in the stock market, how you're managing your portfolios. Are you nervous right now? Or are you confident that things will turn around in the near future? So me, I'm kind of on the fence, but at the same time, I'm gonna stay. I'm not running or selling my portfolio or anything like that. So it's just tough, man. It's kind of tough to look at your 401k right now. But we went through some similar times in 2022 and during the stretch of 2020, where at that time I was still investing. I actually increased my investment in the 401k when back in 2022 and 2020, especially 2020, just to pick up more shares. And it was automatically coming out of my account every paycheck anyway, so I wasn't really missing it. So that was my strategy back in 2020, and I think a little bit in 2022 when the markets pulled back. I just upped my 401k a little bit, added more shares, and then when the market started coming back together in 2023, 2024, I made that money back in no time. It was no issue. So, but yeah, you just gotta have different ways to maneuver around this stock market. My dividend income is just, for those that receive dividends, dividend income is still rolling in, not as high as it was, but it's coming. So yeah, it's just just different ways, man. The more experienced you are with this stock market, the different ways you can kind of maneuver through these times. So I'm not gonna hold you guys long tonight, but I do want to touch on just to show you guys how little cover call income that we've been doing this month. I actually received some premium today, so I just want to share with you just a little bit. I keep an Excel sheet ready, and just to show you where we're going with this, how we're doing with this cover call income. So this is my Amazon cover call income, and as you see here, for the year, we've received $647.91 in cover call income from Amazon. In January, $80.28. February, $49.32. March, $180.51. But in April, so far, we received $337 in cover call income, and we was able to sell. We took advantage of Amazon shooting up today, and we was able to roll one of our cover calls to create some more premium. So today we collected $68.29 in premium for a cover call that we rolled back to the 25th. So which is, no, it was the 25th. I think we went to May 2nd, if I'm not mistaken. Let me see. I gotta open these things up. I know it was, May 2nd. May 2nd cover call. We had it that was going to expire the 25th. We rolled it to May 2nd. We was able to collect $68 in premium today, which took our April income to $337.80. And just to show you here, I keep a running chart, a running total of my cover call income. Let me just make sure that you guys are able to see. Yeah. So just show I'm keeping a running total of my cover call income and my dividend income so far for the year, and we're sitting at $4,334.80 total. We received so far this year $26.83 in dividend income, and then in cover call income so far we received $1651.06, which brings the total which brings our total income to $4,334.80. So roughly about $1,000 a month average we're receiving in dividend income and cover call income so far this year. So you multiply that times 12, that's an extra $12,000. Hopefully it'll be more than that. I'm sure it will. But that's just an extra $12,000 that we're generating in the stock market. So that's huge, right? So this month alone in April, which is my highest month ever in cover call income, we're sitting at $959.21, and we still have about a week or so to go. A few days left in this month, so we may get to $1,000 in cover call income for the month of April, and hopefully that can kind of springboard my leap as far as the cover call income, because it's been a journey. I've been learning as I go, but I'm starting to kind of find my groove. Starting to find my groove with the cover call income, and it's really showed this month. With the results. So we're almost at $1,000 in cover call income for the month of April. What's going on, Lisa? And yeah, man. So what you got? What you saying here? So the cover call premiums you've been collecting because people who have brought your countries have missed the strike price. I don't think that's how it works. I could be wrong, but that may be a little too deep for me. That may be a little too deep for me. I'm not sure if that's the way it works. You just have to have those 100 shares, and you can sell cover calls. And you don't want your cover calls. Like if I have a Amazon, which I did today, I rolled a cover call to a 197.50 strike price. I don't want that the price of Amazon to reach that price before the expiration, right? I'd rather it expire worthless because I've already collected the premium up front, or I'll end up eventually rolling that cover call to create some more premium. But most people want their cover calls to expire worthless, so you don't want to. Like, I like to do a cover call on a green day so I can collect the most premium. I like to set it out for a while so the strike price doesn't get hit, and it works out for me. It works out for me. But I've been learning as I go. But like I said, I've been getting the hang of it, and with the big swings in the market, it's been kind of easy to generate the cover call income. So we're sitting at $959 in April. That's a combination of Google, Amazon, and Apple. So this month for Apple alone, the month of April, we received $525.83 in cover call income. This for the month of April, and for Apple. So these are my highest months ever as far as income is concerned. Google for this month, we received $95.58. I will have a chance to generate some more Google cover call income. I'm just waiting on their earnings on Thursday, because I don't want to roll a cover call and then they have great earnings and the price shoots up. So after they have their earnings call on Thursday, I can kind of see how the price moves. That'll, after that, I can go in and kind of see if there's an opportunity to find some good premium on the cover call. And I already showed Amazon, we're at $337.80 for the month of April in Amazon. So add all those three together, we're at $959.21 cover call income for the month of April. And like I said, we've already received $2,600 in dividend income for this year. So that's put us over the 4,000 mark. It's kind of like passive income in the stock market. So just another way to kind of use this stock market to benefit you. So it's been a learning process. I've had some ups and downs. I've had some high dividend months, had some low dividend months. So which can be kind of it can be kind of a downer sometimes when you're expecting this amount of dividend income and then the payouts be a lot less than what you're expecting. But to offset that, being able to sell cover calls has really helped me out. That's my kind of trading. I'm still learning and still practicing the day trading when I can. Um, but it's coming along. The days I usually day trade or try to catch a spy is on Thursdays and Fridays because I work from home on those days, so it's a little bit easier for me to kind of sit there and watch the markets compared to when I'm in the office. I can't really do that. So those are kind of my practice days on Thursdays and Fridays. So, but yeah, man, yeah, Neo, man, mm, I'm not a great explainer on the cover calls because I don't consider myself an expert. I'm kind of learning as I go, but I am comfortable with them now. And but first thing you gotta do, you gotta have 100 shares of a position. That's the first thing you gotta do to be able to sell cover calls. You gotta have 100 shares of a stock or ETF. That's the first thing. And for me, what I've noticed, I have a few positions that's over 100 shares, but that doesn't mean that the premium on the options contracts are worth selling cover calls because a lot of them are not. But when you have something like a Google or Amazon or Apple that has those great premiums, or if you have Tesla or something like that, that's different. Have you ever done cover calls on FXAIX? I have not because I don't have 100 shares of FXAIX in a brokerage account. The majority of my FXAIX is in my 401k. Yeah. So yeah, I only have a few shares of FAX. Yeah, I only have a few shares of FXAIX in my brokerage account. Like I said, the majority of that is most of that is in my 401k. I have quite a bit of it in my 401k. Let me see. I don't want to. Yeah, I don't want to go to the Fidelity account, but yeah. So the only ones I did at one point have like 100 shares of SoFi when I had SoFi. I don't have SoFi now, but that could be one like that's not real costly, but you have 100 shares of, or 200 shares or 300 shares. You may can find some good premiums for SoFi. You know what I mean? So for those who have 100 shares of Tesla, they have crazy premiums because of how Tesla moves. Though that'll be a good one to sell cover calls on. But those slow moving positions, you might not be able to find good premium on. Like Lisa, I know you say you have over 100 shares of O. It may not be the best to sell cover calls on O because I don't think O moves in a way that's going to generate a lot of premiums on the contract. So yeah, that's just my opinion. That's like I said, that's one of the reasons I was pushing so hard to get to 100 shares of Apple because I wanted to turn around and sell cover calls on those shares. So, and it's been working out pretty good for me. Um, I'm the one thing I am waiting on is I'm waiting on Microsoft to do a stock split. I don't know when that's going to happen. I hope it happens soon, but I think I have about 15 shares of Microsoft. And if they ever do a stock split, whatever that split is going to be, if it doesn't give me 100 shares, that's going to be the next one that I'm going to do a rush on to try to get to 100 shares on, because I can also do, I would also do cover calls on Microsoft. I've checked the premiums on those in the past, and they're really, really good. So that's one I'm just waiting on them to do a stock split. I don't care if it's 5-1, 10. If they do 10-1, I'm in the game. But if it's a 5-1 split, after the split, then I'm gonna do a rush to try to get to 100 shares so I can get to, the sell cover calls. I only have 15 now, so there's no need for me to do no big rush on Microsoft. That's just too much going on to get to those 100 shares. So, but man, to be able to combine the cover call and the dividend income, it's been going really well for me, really well. So I'm on track to accumulate about $12,000 or $13,000 of extra income between the two. Hopefully, it's more. I want to shoot for like 15,000 by the end of the year. That's combined cover call and dividend income. If I can get to 15K by the end of the year, that'd be great. So, but that's a goal of mine. But for now, man, we just got to navigate these tough times in the market. Like I said, man, you don't know what's going to happen day to day in the stock market, and I'm hoping that we can kind of see some. I'm hoping we can kind of see some stability with the communication coming from the White House, from the administration, and we can get this market back on the right track. Because the market wants to go up. It's wanting to go up, but it's just all over the place, right? It's kind of taking on the identity of what's coming down from the top. So if there's no clear communication coming down from the top, then you're going to see the market all over the place, and that's what we want to do. So any new positions? The newest position that I bought is gold. And I think I mentioned this a couple of weeks ago, but that's the newest position that I bought probably within the last month or so. I bought that in my ETF account. I don't know if you saw some old videos of mine. I had started an ETF account it's an all ETF account I started around this time last year. Just been building it up over time. It was doing really great, right? Really great coming into the year, and then boom, with the stock market. So I'm down on that portfolio, but I did make a decision to cut some of the ETFs and buy gold and silver. So I do have gold and silver in that portfolio, and gold is outperforming everything else in that portfolio. I think I'm up about 12 or 13% on my gold position right now, and I've only had it maybe a month or so, but gold has just been going crazy. And I wish I had more into it, but it's definitely been a offset, a good hedge against some of the other positions. But I think that's the newest position that I have in a portfolio. Everything else is just holding, adding when I can, using some of my dividends to add to some positions, reinvesting other dividends, and just trying to accumulate shares any way possible while this market is down. So that's kind of the plan right now. And then because when the market goes back up, it'll be a lot quicker to get back to those highs that I was at by just accumulating shares when I can while the market is down. GLD or physical? GLD is what I have. GLD. How do you guys get physical gold? Right? Where do you go to get physical gold? Let me know in the chat, where would you go to get physical gold? I've never even thought about getting physical gold. So I've always I just bought GLD, I think silver, SLV. That's what I purchased in the portfolio. So yeah, I'm not sure where I can get a hold of some physical gold. Nobody's ever told me where I can get some. So I think I've seen some infomercials back in the day, late at night, but I don't know how truthful that is. So Neo, let me know where I can get some physical gold at. I appreciate it. But for now, just GLD and SLV for me, as far as my gold and silver positions. So Costco sells gold bars. I'm gonna have to check that out. In bulk, right? Yeah, I'm gonna have to check that out. But wow, okay. But what are you guys buying? Let me know. What's new in you all's portfolio? APMEX. Local coin shop. I've never even visited a local coin shop. That's a good one. That's a good one. Okay. Okay. Man, so they can purchase gold bars by the ounce. Okay. I've never even thought about that, man. I'm gonna be honest with you. I never even thought about that. Hmm. Nothing new, Lisa. Okay, I got you. Yeah, you kind of like me. Like I said, GLD was the last one. The gold and silver were the last ones I purchased a couple of weeks ago. Well, about a month or two ago. Nothing new in my portfolio. But I hadn't sold anything. I do some rearranging here and there, but I'm not just. I didn't just sell all my positions and sit on the sideline with cash. I didn't do that. I thought about it, but I'm not good at timing the market. So I like to be in the market and just be ready for when it pushes back up. When I think it will, sooner or later. Sooner or later. So you buy from those websites. They're pretty reliable. Okay, mostly reliable. Okay, I got you. Costco. Okay. So you gotta ask about it. Nice. Man, I did not know that. I did not know that. I may have to check that out. Just bought Grab. What's Grab? What is Grab? Let me stop sharing. Let me share. Let me see something here. What's Grab? I'm not familiar with that. Oh, you going with the penny stocks. Okay. I'm gonna have to check that out. I'm gonna write that down to kind of take a look at GRAB. Let me see what it had going on previously. Okay, ain't been too much of a drop off, kind of in the same area here. Actually on the rise. Might be something to look into. Okay. Yeah, I'll keep my eye on that. There may be something to grab at a low price and then see what it can do. Oxy, okay. Man, I think I missed the boat on Oxy, man. I had Oxy a while back, sold it, and then I just wasn't in it when it did a big run up. So I think I missed the boat on Oxy for sure. But man, that's been a good one. That's been a good one over time, though. What has Oxy done lately? I didn't want to do that. Yeah, I did have it in the portfolio at one point. I hate the screen. Let me see for myself. Not a bad dividend either. 24 cents. 48. It's trading at 40 in the 30s. Yeah, that might be a good price. Good price to get in on some Oxy for sure. Nice little pullback. Do I have any Netflix or Costco? I have a small Netflix position. My son does have share. So I get Netflix and Cisco confused. He has both. I think it's Costco. He has a smaller portion. Yeah, so he has Cisco and Costco, and I have a small portion of Netflix that I just got into a couple of weeks ago. But it's not although I'm up on the position, I just really put a couple of dollars in just to open up a position, and I was going to start adding over time. So I don't have any Home Depot right now. But yeah, y'all balling. Not. If you got a small position, you got a small position, man. I have a small Netflix position, small Costco position in my son's account. Hey, you can dollar cost average, buy a couple of dollars here. It ain't nothing to move a mountain or anything like that. But sometimes that's just how you got to get started. You got to see the position in your account and then create a plan to build up that position. That's what I've done a lot of times. Takes a lot of patience, takes some consistency, but it can happen. It can happen. I don't have any HD right now. I don't have any HD. Yeah, only have 2 shares of Microsoft. Yeah, man, let me tell you. Yeah, that's how I started with Microsoft. I just kept building it up, kept building and kept building, and yeah, that's how what happened with Apple and um, Amazon and Google, man. Just started off with a few shares, then boom, you have a stock split, then boom, you create a little challenge for yourself, and then over the next few months you build up a portfolio, and you look up, you got 80, 90, 100 shares, and then you're like, oh, okay, this what happened. And that's where you can start seeing stuff move. So I got to do better with my Microsoft. I don't buy as much. I wanted to get the 15 shares, and I got the 15 shares. I've been kind of stagnant on it. I've been hoping for a stock split, but I got to do better. I am up pretty good on my Microsoft, even though the market's been kind of down. I'm still up on that, but I would like to get to 100 shares of Microsoft. It's just I'm gonna need some help. I would need a little help from a stock split because I got about 85 more shares to go. That's just not gonna happen anytime soon. So. But you got to start somewhere. You got to start somewhere. Put $10 in it. Put $15. Put $20 in it. Then every time you get paid, or every time you get some extra money, put another 10, another 20. Or if you're on a brokerage where you can do just automatic every week or every day or bi-weekly or bi-monthly, then that'll take your mind off of it. And you look up, oh, okay, I got this much, I got that much. That's what I'm doing with my VTI right now. This time last year, I probably had like 2 shares of VTI. Now I have VTI is expensive, right? And now I have 5 shares. So the next goal is I just try to hustle and bustle so I get to 6 shares and then 7 shares. Then hopefully in a few months or maybe a year from now, I have 10 shares. So it's a grind when you're building up a portfolio, especially if you have multiple portfolios. But that's all part of investing in yourself. And so I like the journey. I like the process. That's why I get so disappointed when the market goes down, based off stuff that we probably can control, right? Or they can control, because I understand the process of building up these portfolios. And most of us are regular people that work regular jobs or have regular income. We're not millionaires or anything like that. So we're pouring our all into this stock market to help our money grow. And you just want to see things done the right way. So this is a way for the average person to get to the next level. And it's a process. And depending on where you start, you can get it done quicker than others, and some may be, it may take longer. So I hope to be in that millionaire status one day. And it's going to take a while, but the foundation can be years. The foundation can be 10, 15, 20 years just to build that foundation. But when you get there, it's going to be all worth the journey. So that's what keeps me going. You know what I mean? Is just trying to push through and to get to that that goal that we all want to be at. So I may be 50, I may be 60, but it's gonna happen. It's gonna happen. So you know, just enjoy the process, man. Enjoy the process and stay consistent in what you're doing. So yep. But man, we're at 11:22. We're about how far are we into this thing? We quite a bit. We in this thing quite a bit. So I haven't been on here in a week or so, and I haven't done a Tuesday night live in a while. So I just want to touch bases with you guys, man. Make sure everybody is staying in the game and you know, staying focused. So what's you saying, at least including the property as investments and savings? No, yeah. So you got you know, investment properties. I'm gonna tell you about my house, man. It's just about knowing the game. I wish I had more investment properties, or I wish I had investment properties, but you know, just understanding, man. I'm gonna just say it. Buying my house in 2011 was probably one of the smartest things I could have done. You know what I mean? Seeing what the prices are now, and to be able to buy back in 2011 when you know they was giving away houses. You know what I mean? Especially here in the South, that was probably one of the best investments I ever did. And I didn't know that was my first time buying a house. I didn't know about the process. I just did it. You know what I mean? And then you look up 15 years later, and it's like, oh, I'm glad I made that move back then. So that's the same thing with the stock market. You know, don't overthink it. If you think it's a good company, if you think it's a good price, go ahead and buy in, keep adding to it. And 10, 15 years from now, you're gonna look back and say, oh, I'm glad I made that choice to, you know, to make that purchase. So um, yeah, man. So and then buy a house and then refinancing, you know, just understanding, paying attention to interest rates, man. It's all about just financial literacy at the end of the day, you know. So, you know, if it push comes to shove and I just get on hard times, hey, I got that. I got this house that you know, if I need to come off of it, I can come off of it. I can be right back on my feet if push comes to shove. I hope I never have to do that, but you know, but yeah, I'll wreck for the next 30 years. You know what? I refinanced too to a 15 year back in 2020 when the interest rates were low. See how he's trying to get the interest rates low again. I just took that opportunity to refinance back in 2020. So I was able to go from a 30 to a 15 year. So yeah. Yeah, see, that's good. Don't have interest rates much higher than 3%. That's good. That's good. That's great, actually. Yeah. So yeah, man, that's the name of the game, man. You got to understand. You got to know how to attack this game in many different ways. From you know, from controlling your debt, you know, budget, investing, um, dividend income, rental properties. It's just a lot of different. It's a lot of different pieces to this puzzle, and you know, find your niche, and then you attack it, and then once you you know, perfected one niche, go to the other, and you just keep building up. And before you know, you done created a dynasty, you know, for yourself. So yeah, it's part of the process. It's part of the process. But hey, I'm gonna shut this thing down. I appreciate you guys tuning in. I'm glad we was able to have some great conversation. I'm gonna be back Thursday night, and you know, we're gonna do some more. By the end, we can talk a little Google earnings. We can talk a little. No, that's it. That's the main one. I'm sure some others reporting on Thursday, but Google is the main one. We'll see how that goes, and we'll see how, you know, what the price on Google, will it go down or will it go up? So that'll be some good conversation. So, but yeah, I appreciate you guys tuning in, man. Remember to hit that like button, the share button. Trying to get to 1,000 subscribers. You know, so if you know somebody who knows somebody, tell them to subscribe to the channel or tell them give us a look. I really appreciate it. I have to do better with being more consistent, but I appreciate you guys tuning in, and I will talk to you later.